How's it going?
Oh, hey.
Welcome back to episode 4 of RNB.
It's a BB.
If you've been with us since episode 1, we greatly appreciate it. All the love and all the support and stuff.
In my heart.
Alright guys, today we are going to start off with our hot topic section. And we are going to discuss Miss Kylie Jenner. Did you hear how Kylie Jenner threw her friend a 22nd birthday party, but it was Handmaid's Tale themed?
Ooh, I love Handmaid's Tale, but I did not hear about Kylie Jenner, that's for sure.
Yeah, so I actually didn't hear about it either. I want to say it was like over the weekend that this happened, but I guess Kylie threw her friend a Handmaid's Tale theme party, and the reason that we didn't hear about it is that I'm assuming she just deleted everything off of social media, or I just missed the story. But yeah, she threw a Handmaid's Tale party. So basically she decorated her entire house themed in Handmaid's Tale. She put a story on her Instagram from like when you walk in, there's like Marthas in the front, which is kind of like awkward because Marthas are slaves, just like the rest of them. And then when you get back inside to her house, you there's like everything is red, and they also dressed up in the Handmaid's Tale robes.
Yikes.
That's awkward.
That's real awkward. But I mean, I'm super excited for the new season of Handmaid's Tale. I need to hop on that and watch that.
Yeah, I just watched the first 2 episodes. It's bomb.
Yeah, I need to catch up on that. I will be doing that tonight. Best believe.
Best believe. So basically what I want to dive into is the fact that she is completely missing the point of the show, because if you understood the point of the show, you would not have a Handmaid's Tale themed party where you dress up like handmaids. Like, does she not understand that these women are enslaved and forced, raped, and they have people's kids that they don't want? Like, they can't choose. They are sex slaves? What?
Yeah, I think that she probably just thought of it as like,
oh, this is really cute.
Yeah, I'm just going to have like a little party. Everybody's not going to mind. But I'm like, I definitely understand the whole idea of like, this is something serious, and it's a serious show. But I think that she was like doing it for entertainment purpose.
And yeah, I totally get the entertainment aspect of it, because obviously it is a very popular show. And I think it was her friend's favorite show, which is why she did it. But especially with the political climate that we're in right now, like with the whole abortion ban and things like that, I think it was just in poor taste.
Yeah, I guess the only part, I'm not trying to defend her or anything, but at the same time I'm like, so if you want to do like a Michael Myers party, should you not do it? Because it's like he's like killing people and stuff, you know?
No, but this is something that's, I guess, yeah, that is realistic too. I understand what you're saying, but I think what this stands for is a lot worse. It's like it's an entire society turning it into a dystopian society, which is something that's very realistic in the day and age that we're living in, because with the whole abortion ban, that was kind of like the first step in Handmaid's Tale. Like, they cut off abortions, and then women started to have less rights, and then that's when they, started to really take over and rip people's kids away from them and stuff like that. So, yeah, obviously Michael Myers can happen. That is realistic, but this is something that can happen to society as a whole, and I just feel like she was making light of a topic that was just very inappropriate.
Yeah, I mean, either way, she realized the wrongdoing when she took that shit back, because...
I mean, she took it back because she was getting hate from everyone, that may or may not be because she realized she was wrong, or because she just didn't want bad press. I mean, she did just release Kylie's Skin, like, last week or the week before, and something like that would hurt sales.
No, yeah, I get it,
so,
but I'm like, at the same time, I'm just like, I kind of get where she came from like the entertainment aspect. So I'm just like, at what point are we like gonna be like, oh, you can't do that, like,
Well,
like,
I mean, I feel like that one was just really obvious, because you can appreciate a show and whatever, but to have people dress up as the characters is just taking a little bit too far, and making a party out of something that in the show is a terrible situation for people, and people have been killed and their lives have been ruined and their kids have been taken away from them. That's just, I feel like that's not something you should have a party about. It's not like it was a fun show. It's not a positive show,
The reason why she did it was because her friend enjoyed the show. So that's why I'm like, I get it, because if your friend enjoyed the show and was like obsessed with it, and you wanted to do like a theme party after it, then I'm like, oh, of course it makes sense. I mean, I get now why some people would be upset about it, but I think it's like kind of blown out of proportion.
Okay, but like, let's also think about it. So, what if people had a party where they dressed up as Jews from the Holocaust? Do you know what I mean? It's the same idea, and that's why people are so offended by it. You know, there's like quite a few articles online of people responding to Kylie Jenner and obviously the party, and one of them were Bradley Whitford. He's the man who played the guy who let Emily go. Oh wait, I'm sorry, you haven't watched the show. Whoop, spoiler alert. All right, let's not forget that I said that. Sorry, guys. So it's the new. It's one of the commanders.
Okay.
This guy.
Mm-hmm.
Bradley Whitley. I forget his character's name. But anyways, he said, I don't know, seems a little tacky. Oh, he plays Joseph Lawrence. Commander Lawrence? Okay, well, he doesn't know. He said that costume is so kind of iconic, and it's interesting how it's changed from initially a sort of symbol of oppression to now, as a show is moving ahead, to a symbol of resistance. So yeah, Cocktail Party seems to sort of dash all of that significance. Because, like, I feel like part of the reason why the writers made the show in the first place was kind of to just get people's thought going about a dystopian society that we could possibly run into with the current administration that we have. And so it's a serious topic, and it's something that could really happen, and for her to take it and make a party just made a joke of the whole idea, basically.
I just think that the show was made for like entertainment purposes, and yeah, they were probably trying to get a message across, but I don't think that it was supposed to be like this. There's plenty of shows out there that deal with dystopian society and everything. So at the same time, I'm like, I get why people are butthurt, but at the same time, the show is made for entertainment. So I don't understand, at the same point, people being like up in arms. I mean, it's Kylie Jenner, so people don't like the Kardashians, so they're going to find any type of reason to attack her.
Yeah,
so
I feel that.
I'm like, if it was a normal person having a Handmaid's Tale party, it wouldn't be, oh my god, the end of the world.
I feel like, of course, it being Kylie Jenner, you know, a Kardashian, whatever, it is magnified, but I do think that her doing that was wrong.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I mean, I don't know. The show is made for entertainment. It's not a real thing. So that's why it's different than the Jews and the Holocaust, because that was a real thing.
Really happen,
but it's not. It's not.
But you don't know that.
It's not happening.
Yet.
It's not not happening. Period. Right now. So you there's a whole bunch of things that could happen. Maybe we can't. If we can say you shouldn't do anything because it might maybe happen. That's not.
It's just tacky.
I guess. I mean, I'm not as butthurt about it as everybody else. I think that there's a lot more going on that we could be worried about.
Yeah, I mean, this is America.
Just
Alright, and then the other thing that I wanted to talk about is Taylor Swift not washing her legs.
That is some dirty shit.
Woo! Okay, so Taylor, this is old news, but I'm just getting to it. Taylor Swift went on Ellen and basically admitted that she doesn't wash her legs. She was like, well, I mean, it's not that I don't wash them, but I shave them. That's the same thing, right?
Definitely not the same thing.
Definitely not the same thing.
I'm like, if you're not soaping every inch of your body, like, I'm like, my legs.
I'm getting all the crevices.
You have to get every single crevice. But I mean, like, some people don't take showers at all. So, I mean, at least she's doing that.
No. Not at least. There is a standard of hygiene that you have to have. And, okay, let's just, like, look at the body, right? Your legs are a significant portion of your body. So you ain't washing shit. Like, what if she just goes in the shower and washes her armpits and hopefully her vagina?
She just like lets the water run on her body.
Yes. Oh my gosh. She probably just like washes the top and she sees the water going down and she's like, oh, I mean, they kind of wash, right?
She like sees the soap running down, so she's like, oh, that's fine. I'm washing them.
Another thing that really freaks me out about the idea of her not physically washing her legs, only shaving them, is that I completely lost my train of thought just now. I had something good to say. It's because I kept looking at the water on that. is that if you're not washing your legs, you are most likely not washing your feet either.
Yeah, I mean, just none of the lower body is being taken care of.
Yeah, because, okay, I feel like your feet and your legs kind of go hand in hand. So if you're going to skip over your legs, why would you not wash your feet? I mean, why would you think that you should wash your feet, you know?
Yeah. Either way, she's just dirty.
Because you know when, like, your feet sweat so much and they're in shoes that are just probably stanky and things. I'm like, I'm the type of person, I'm washing in between my individual toes, my dude.
Maybe she just got so much money that we don't know what kind of shower she got. Maybe her shower just washes her.
They're, like, have some foot jets in her shower, so like she doesn't actually need to like actually wash her entire body at all, because it's just jets just powering it off.
She just walks in and it's like a cryo machine that's like cruising all the germs off of her body.
Woo! That shit had me rolling. And the funny thing about it is that Ellen was kind of trying to like catch her in her lie, being like, because she was trying to make it seem like, okay, well, yeah, I don't wash my legs, but I shave my legs every day. And Ellen was like, oh, so you must be a really hairy person then. And she's like, ah, because she knew that what she said in that moment sounded so disgusting. Because Ellen was low-key coming for her, like in a nice way, but like Ellen was like, oh, so what happens on the days when you don't shave your legs? Sure.
She's like, it just let the water run.
She's like, let's talk about my new song. She's like, that's not what I signed up for. I'm canceling the interview.
She's like, I'm leaving. This is an attack on my personality. I'm leaving.
She's like, this is why I stopped doing interviews for the last few years. You guys always attack me.
Anyways, over that mayo.
Mayo? Oh my god.
We're going to go into our get to the point, my favorite segment, because it actually means things, you know. Segment is going to be going out to all my single people out there. Hey! We're going to be talking about the dating process and dating in 2019, because
it's
Lord knows
it's all single,
fucking games.
And we're all jaded, and we're all hurt, and
we got baggage, and we got problems.
We're all in therapy.
We got baby mamas, we got 6 kids.
You know? Okay.
So to start off this conversation, I want to talk about, I guess I want to start with like social media and how that's become a new realm for dating. I'm like, Bumble and Tinder and all your dating websites are very, very interesting, because if you would think that these are relationship apps, so you're going on those to get into relationships, and that's just not the case.
Really?
That's not what it's for. I
thought Tinder was like mostly, I haven't really, like I've been on, like I guess all of them, but I haven't really like I used Tinder like when it first came out, I don't know, 4 years ago, something like that. And then for like Bumble and Hinge, I went on that for like a month, and I was just kind of like just seeing what it was, and it was so stupid. Like, alright, this is gonna be really mean, but I'm just being honest, but they're so fucking ugly. Oh my god! I was like scrolling through the pictures, you know how Hinge, because I didn't really use Bumble, but like Hinge, you know how it's like kind of like a profile, like it's like an Instagram where they'll like answer a question or like make a quote or whatever, and then there's pictures and stuff like that. I thought Orlando was bad, you know what I'm saying? But I was like, where did you guys get these people from? Where?
I just think that so Tinder, the experience for a guy and a girl on Tinder is two totally different things. So as a guy...
Wait, so what do you use?
I use all 3 of them, but I don't use any of them seriously, because you get into this thing where like you'll match with somebody and you'll be like, dope, they're cute, I think they're cool, maybe we should see where this goes. And then you start messaging back and forth, and then all of a sudden that person starts messaging you. And you're like...
Oh, that's so sad. Weren't you like talking to a girl or whatever?
Yeah, well, the funny part is that like we've actually added each other on social medias or whatever, but like it just didn't go anywhere. And I'm like, you would think that like with stuff like that it would go places, but it just, I guess that you just lose if you don't meet up as soon as you guys match, then 9 times out of 10 you guys aren't going to meet up, and it's not going to go anywhere.
I feel like maybe when people go on there and have conversations and stuff, and then things fall off, it's because that's all they intended to happen, you know? They didn't really intend to hang out with you in real life, or maybe that they did, but they weren't going to ask you first.
I guess I'm just like, why did you even match in the first place?
It's
like,
entertaining.
I've had some times where people just match and then they did, like, I'll say something and they don't say anything, and I'm like,
Me as fuck.
Like literally,
It's
what was the point? Like,
just entertainment.
I feel like a lot of girls go in there for like self-esteem purposes, or
Oh,
everyone, not
for
just girls,
sure,
everyone.
because I mean mostly girls, because I know that from the guys that I'm friends with that use social media, not social media, like Tinder and dating apps and stuff like that. They say that when they go on, they usually are not getting hit on. It's mostly them hitting on people. And I know from a girl's perspective that you're getting hit on. You're like, oh my god, I'm Beyonce.
From a guy's perspective, you're just like, swipe right, swipe right, swipe right, swipe right.
I know.
Just
like
you see what
you spam it and just swipe right on everyone just to see what you'll get.
Yeah, just to see what happens.
Mm-mm.
It's like fishing,
terrible.
you know. You gotta throw out the net and then see all the fish you catch, and then bring it back in. But either way, I think that like the whole social media dating, or like the whole like not social media, cyber dating, and that whole new like realm has been like very very detrimental. Just because like the fact that you're able to like see somebody and be like, oh, they're not this height, they're not this tall, they're not this like, and you're able to like swipe left before you even know who that person is. Like you're diminishing the person as a whole without even knowing who that person is. But like,
yeah, I agree.
It's everyone's doing that, and I'm like, the fact that like we are able to do that is kind of shitty, because I'm like, if you're able to take somebody's whole experience and boil it down to one picture and then just swipe left and be like, oh, I know that person's not for me. That person could be the best thing that's ever happened to you.
I know.
And you will never know.
You'll
because
never know.
You're superficial and a cunt.
Yeah, okay. We are not saying words like that. Robert's obviously been very hurt by women on social media platforms.
You know, all my Drake shit.
But, I mean, I think that using dating websites instead of meeting people organically is like online shopping for people, which is terrible because it's all superficial. Like, you're supposed to put up the best pictures of yourself and put up all your information, and then people don't even need to ask you any questions because there's so much information already in your profile. They know how tall you are, they know your age, they know your religious preferences, they know sometimes what your occupation is. They can see your different pictures, so they kind of see your personality. So it's kind of like, I don't need to talk to you because your profile said everything. So it does take away the organic aspect of relationships, which is why it doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, like, the whole idea of, like, I know that so many people I've met online and they are married and they're living their best life, but I'm like,
really?
Obviously I don't think that that works for everybody,
Hell
if not
no.
anyone. Like, to be honest, if I'm using those apps, I'm using it to pass time. So maybe I'm shitting on the toilet. I just need to check and see if there's any girls who are cute while I'm taking a shit. But I mean, I think...
like, what are you doing? You're like, I'm taking a shit.
I think that's what also other people use it for, which is why I don't ever get like offended if it like doesn't go anywhere or anything. But then like meeting people organically is also really hard to do because phones and technology. Like, I'm gonna go into a little story. I was hanging out with this chick. She's cool, but her personality was dry. The Sahara Desert dry. And we were on a date. And we were at a restaurant.
Wait, is this who I think you're talking about?
You don't know. We were at a restaurant and we're like eating and shit, and she's on her phone. And I'm like, to me, that is the most rude, disrespectful thing that you could do, is while you're...
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, while you're out with somebody one-on-one, and they, both of you guys decide to spend time with each other, and they rather be on their phone and like texting and like on social media. Like, if I'm boring you and you're not interested, just let me motherfucking know.
You're like, we're on separate checks. I'm just kidding.
And that's literally what happened, is that like she didn't even notice that like I was getting upset. So I'm like, hey, I think that we should like cut this short. And she's like, oh, did I do something wrong? And I'm like, I just think that you're more interested in your phone than you are in me. So, what's the point of me sitting here trying to get to know you if you want to just get to know your phone?
Yeah.
And she was offended, but I'm like, the fact is like, that's the truth. Like,
well, okay, so I agree with you completely. You should not be on your phone if you're hanging out with someone because it's super fucking rude. But I think because of the amount of time that people spend on their phones and online, people use being on their phone as a kind of security blanket. Like, if they're ever feeling awkward or ever feeling uncomfortable about a situation, they get on their phone you know? And so she might have just been really nervous in that moment and gotten on her phone instead of just like talking to you about how she feels or about, I don't know, just starting a conversation, you know what I mean? Because social media has made people become very like socially isolated, you know what I mean? Like, people don't talk to each other anymore. Like, you know, if we're waiting in a store, if you're waiting in line, no one's talking to each other, everyone's on their phone. You don't talk to strangers. And so when you're put in a situation to where you have to be social and you have to ask questions and be personable, people get very intimidated by that. And so the security blanket and how they fix that is getting on their phone, because it's easier than facing the anxiety of having a conversation with someone that you maybe like or maybe don't know that well yet.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, like, at the same time, that is not a goddamn excuse.
No, absolutely. That just, it's insecurity, you know?
It's just super unattractive, because I'm like I said, I took you out, and 9 times out of 10, if I'm going out with a girl, I'm going to pay for it. So the fact is that, like,
except for if it's with me.
I'm spending my money and my time to try to, like, get to know you and, like, whatever, and you can't even give me the 5 minutes to, like, get to know me. I get that you might be feeling, like, anxious or whatever, but so am I. Like, both people are feeling that, but the fact that you don't know how to, like, handle yourself as a normal human being is super unattractive.
Yeah, 100%.
So, I mean, I still did the gentleman thing, and I paid the check, but I excused myself from the situation very quickly because I realized that it wasn't going anywhere. And afterwards, she apologized or whatever, but at that point, I was already, like, on to the next.
No, for sure, because, like, especially if that's, like, kind of, like, your first impression that you're making on someone, you definitely don't want to be on your phone. You want to be asking that person questions about what they like or about what their day was like or anything, really just not on your phone, because you can be on your phone at any time, you know. We can go home and you can be on your phone if you want to. If we're out somewhere, we're supposed to be enjoying each other's company, not looking at what's on Instagram or what's on Twitter. She's like tweeting about the date. She's like, oh my god, on our first date, kind of nervous.
And I'm like, I like tweet her back. I'm like, oh my god, I'm about to dump you. Bye. Anyway, I'm like, I get people reaching out to social media, because I think that to say to meet somebody organically is a lot harder than what it actually is.
I'm like, how do people actually do that? Like, where do people meet each other if it's not online? Because, I mean, I've been single for 2 years, and not that I'm, like, looking for anything necessarily, but when I go out, it's not like they're potential candidates approaching me. It's always just, like, these gross-ass guys, because, honest to God, anyone worth your time or worth anything is not approaching you. You know?
So, the way I look at this is that in our society, it's been, like, it's been nailed down that guys need to approach women. Okay, cool, sure. But at the same time, to approach people or approach women over and over and over again and get fucking rejected, and to be okay with that, like the fact that guys need to be okay with rejection. That's my issue.
Okay, so I feel like everyone should be okay with rejection, but obviously, men experience far more rejection than women do. It's a hard thing. It's a hard thing because I totally understand from a guy's perspective that it sucks to be rejected all the time, and you know that women are expecting you to be the one to approach them, but at the same time, as a woman, I am not approaching a man.
And I get that, and that's your opinion or whatever, but at the same time, like, if there's somebody that you like and that you want to go after, I can guarantee you that as a guy, if a girl that I like, even if you're not that attractive, to be honest, if you show me that you have the balls to, like, come up and be like, yo, I'm into you, I'm attracted to you, like, that shit doesn't happen.
That confidence.
That shit never happens. So the fact that a woman is able to, like, step out of herself and, like, approach you and be like, yo, I think you're, like, you don't have to be like, oh, let me see what that dick does. Like, you know, doesn't have to be nothing like that.
What even?
But just, like, chilling and being like, yo, I think you're attractive, I think you're cool, we should hang out. I am 9 times out of 10 saying yes, even if you are a busted bitch. Why? Because you're a busted bitch of confidence.
Okay, but you know you're not going to date her.
I mean, it depends. You know, there's just the fact that you, how do I say this? Just the fact that you extended the olive branch, I'm going to take it and see where it goes. Because you are not like other chicks. You know how most girls are like, I'm not like other girls, baby. I found something different.
I hate you so much.
You show me from jump that you are not like other girls, and
Yeah.
that shit is attractive to me. I mean,
Yeah,
that's just
no,
me.
for sure.
Yeah. The thing that I need the opinion on from the female species is,
Why do you keep saying female species?
you know, the opposite sex.
The actual sex.
When you guys all get dressed up and you go out, ladies' night, yeah, woo, let's get drunk, baby. Yeah. So then you guys like all go out, and I know that sometimes the intention is to just hang out with your ladies, but other times you're like, oh, let's see if we can like pull some guys. Da, da, da.
That's always the intention, honey.
So,
I'm just kidding.
so when you guys are out and you're at the club and all that shit, and a guy comes up to you, number one, the amount of courage that that guy has to have to approach a group of women
You're right.
is outrageous, number one. Number two, he's not trying to talk to all of y'all. Most likely he wants to talk to one. And
or two or three.
Or two or three. Oh, hey, go ahead, play. I see you. But, like, that, I've been in that position, and that whole dynamic is such a shitty feeling because you're like, oh, I think this girl's really pretty, and her fat friend Judy is like,
oh my god, Robert,
this is a ladies' night. We're not fucking around with guys. And, you know, the girl Sam, who you might actually be into, is like, damn, I wish that this wasn't a ladies' night because I would really fucking go for you. And because
you could still go for it, right?
But yeah, but because you're in that dynamic, it seems unattainable.
Yeah.
And I think that like that's just an example of like guys having to put themselves out there when girls fucking don't. And I'm like, I don't think that guys get enough like
appreciation for it.
Yes, enough appreciation because if that guy that you like doesn't come up to you and you don't come up to him,
you guys are never talking.
It's never happening. It's never happening. So my message to ladies out there is that guys do like it when you put yourself out there. It shows that you actually care. Because I mean, the biggest thing to a relationship is having somebody that you're into and them being into you. So from a guy's standpoint, it's very hard to know where like girls land because even if a girl's into you, she's not showing it at all the times, and she like that whole cat mouse thing, you know, all that bullshit. Don't play games. If you're into somebody, tell them. If you like somebody, tell them. Games are so fucking 2009.
2009. I'm just kidding.
In the past.
No, I get where you're coming from. I don't like do girls' nights out a lot, but when I am with my my group of girlfriends, which is like just once in a while, guys definitely do try to approach us, and we for sure band together and almost hold hands together, and we're like, don't talk to her! And so, no, I totally understand you trying to approach a group of girls and be intimidated by it, because, I mean, I know when I'm out with my girls and we're just like, don't even fucking look in our direction. Not in a second way, but it's also just like, you know, like, downtown guys, it's just not what you want. You know that a guy who's approaching you downtown or in a situation where there's drinking involved probably isn't a guy that you're going to want in your life, so it's just like, don't even bother us, like.
I guess, because I'm like, I don't agree with that a little bit, because I'm like,
you're a boy.
Well, because downtown is one of the only places where you're being social with other strangers. So.
But they're drunk.
Okay, but if you're not meeting somebody downtown, then like you said, where are you meeting them?
Whole Foods.
Oh, okay. Because somebody comes up to your grocery store and you don't clutch
you're
your
like, oh
clutch your purse
baby.
and be like, oh my gosh,
why would I
Robbie.
clutch my purse when I'm in Whole Foods or Publix?
I've just seen plenty of women be afraid for you to
guys
even.
will go up to me, so I wouldn't know.
You want to know why? Because they're afraid of being rejected.
Sorry, y'all. I don't know. I think that it would be nice for more women to gain the confidence to approach men, but it's also just not something that women have been taught growing up, you know? Like, when you're growing up, your parents are definitely teaching you that a guy needs to be opening the door for you, paying for your meal, this and that, whatever. So the idea of a girl approaching a guy is very taboo, which I think we are growing out of, because I have had some people that I know, like a couple that I know, the girl actually proposed to the guy, which was pretty cool. I'm the type of person that, regardless of the situation, if you might say no to me, I'm not asking you the question. And that's obviously just a personality flaw because I'm going to be put in a lot of situations at some point to where I need to be able to ask a question, even if I'm going to get the wrong answer, or not the wrong answer, but an answer that I don't like, and feel rejection, whether it's from a job or a relationship, whatever, but I'm just not at that point. And so, I mean, you've seen me, like, if I think you might say no, you're asking. Hell
Yeah,
no.
I'm definitely the one to like put myself out there at all times. I'm just like, life is too short, and shit's gonna like, who knows? You could die tomorrow, and if you were thinking that you should have done that and you didn't, and you would like have to sit there and live with that regret, that's just not something that I'm willing to live with.
You know what I just thought about? I actually do have a regret with not, like, not approaching a guy, but so which trip was this? My friends and I were going to Costa Rica. We were going to Costa Rica, and my sister and I were sitting at this bar in the airport because our flight still had like an hour or something to go, and we wanted to get something before we got on the plane, and we sat at the bar, and this guy was like sitting to my sister's sitting to my right, this other guy sitting to her right, but at like the corner of the bar. As soon as we sit down, I see him look at us, and I'm like, oh, okay, like, he's actually kind of cute, whatever, you know. And as soon as we sit down, he says something to us, and it was just very casual, very friendly, just being like, oh, where are you guys headed to, whatever. And we started talking, and he seemed pretty cool. And maybe like 5 minutes after, I guess we thought we had more time than we did, but they started boarding the flight, because they board the flight like 30 minutes prior to like departure. And so he was talking to us, and then our friends were calling us like, we have to go, they're boarding the plane. And so I wanted to just be like, oh, like, let's follow each other on Instagram so you can like see our travels or whatever, because he was going to Washington D.C. where one of my friends lives. And so I was like, oh wow, my friend lives there, blah blah blah. So it's like we're kind of making like connections, and I was like, wow, he's really cute too. And I never asked him for his Instagram, and then like since then, not obviously not all the time, but I've definitely thought about that moment and being like, wow, I should have for sure taken that chance, because like there's rare moments where you like actually meet someone who you are attracted to and you're having connection so quickly, even if it's something as little as like, oh, you live where my friend lives.
Yeah, for sure.
Regret.
I'm just like, that's something that I will never decide to live with. I mean, at the same time, I mean, like, yeah, I've been in positions where I'm like, maybe I'm going to say it, maybe I won't, and then you don't, but that's also a decision. So I'm just like, at the end of the day, the message is, if you fucking feel like that it's something that you should go for, you should do it.
Be brave.
Because if you don't and somebody else does it, you can be salty.
I know, right? Because imagine if like I would have said something to that guy and we would have followed each other on Instagram or something like that, and then that's my husband.
I mean, the funny part is that I can guarantee you that you saying like, oh, we should like exchange Instagrams, he wouldn't have thought like, oh, that means that she's into me. It would have just been like a friendly thing. Yeah, I can tell you as a guy.
Why?
Because I'm like, well, I'm not sure about all guys, but for me, that shit needs to be slapped on my forehead like, hey, I'm into you.
Oh, I've heard that before.
Somebody being like, oh, we should exchange Instagrams. I'm like, oh, they're just being friendly. Like, exchanging Instagram. So funny. I mean, I guess if it was like, oh, we should exchange numbers, then I would think that you're into me.
Well, because I feel so awkward to ask someone something so direct, especially a man, so I'm not going to ask him something like that, maybe after we follow each other on Instagram or something like that, and then we kind of see what each other is about, then I'll ask for your number, or probably, probably, knowing me, I won't, but, yeah, I don't know, I'm really bad at social interaction, to be honest.
In general, people, we are a social species, and I think that we've gotten so far away from that with our cell phones and our technology, and that's why there's cyber dating. All this bullshit that has a whole bunch of distractions is to actually looking up and looking at the person in front of you and having a conversation with them. And I think that we need to take steps to get back towards that, because if we don't, then eventually we're going to be all sitting in restaurants and sitting with your mans and stuff, fucking on your phone, not saying anything.
Internet cafes.
And then you'll be sitting next to a person that you're supposed to be in love with and you don't know anything about them, or maybe you do. Maybe you know everything that's on their Twitter. But I mean, I personally want a deeper connection, and I feel like there's not enough people who also want that. So if you out there, little mama, I'm searching for you.
I'm done. I don't think it's that people don't want that. I think they're just really afraid of the rejection part of it, and it is a confrontation, and not a confrontation in a negative sense, but approaching someone and asking them something very direct is a confrontation. And so I think in today's society, people are very passive, people are very unconfrontational, and that's why when you're on the internet, people will attack you and they'll say whatever they want in your comments, but then the second that you comment back to them, they cower and they have nothing to say for themselves. And you know, if those same people were in real life, they would never say those things to you because we are an unconfrontational society. And so, I mean, I think that women should take this step and make the first move with men more, but me being a woman, I completely understand why we don't.
Yeah, and fellas, I just want to give us the advice to like hang in there. You know, even though you might get rejected, who cares? Then that wasn't the one for you. You know, make sure that you don't let that like discourage you, because I get it. It's very easy to get discouraged hearing no so many times. But at the same time, like, you know, there is somebody out there who's going to say yes and who will give you the opportunity. And when you do, shoot your shot, my nigga. Shoot your shot.
Shoot your shot.
Shoot or shoot.
Shooters shoot.
I just think that, like I said, as an overall society, can we please agree to take the step to get, even if it's not relationship wise, even if it's not dating wise, take the step to get to know the person next to you. They have a story. They have meaning. They've grown up differently from you. Like, take the time to know that. And I mean, the funny part is that people are going on social media and learning about other people. And
you know so much about someone, but you've only looked at their Instagram. Like, that's insane. You've never spoken to them before.
Yeah,
and
you know everything about them.
You're like, I know your social security numbers.
And that's just not the way it should be. And we have to be conscious of this. Otherwise, we will keep slipping down this fucking slope. And I just don't want that to be the society that I live in. So, you know, do your part, my friends. Do your part.
Yeah, most def, I agree. And with that being said, I think that is the end of episode 4.
And to get to the motherfucking point, liddy.
If you guys enjoyed this episode, please follow us on all our social media platforms. You can find us on Instagram and on Twitter at @theofficial_RNB. You can find us on YouTube for those people who are only listening to our audio at RNB Podcast. And
subscribe
you can also
and like, friends. Subscribe and like. Show us that you out there. You know, show us that you enjoy the content.
I know this is a very YouTuber thing to say, but hit that notification bell.
Hey.
We see you. And if you want to go ahead and send us a little email for anything that you'd like us to talk about or any issues that you might be having, you can, of course, find us on the official R&B podcast at gmail.com.
Yes. And I am personally most active on my Instagram. That's the social media that I use the most because, you know, I'm trying to stay off that shit. My Instagram is Rob Bates, ROBBATESS. So 2 B's, 2 S's, complicated as fuck for no reason. But yeah, that's where I am the most active. So DM me, slide in my DMs. I'm friendly. I'll, you know, reach back out, ladies.
After this episode, Robert's like, I need to find my soulmate. And you guys can find me on Instagram. My Instagram is BRVTT.
Yes, so those are all of our social medias. Once again, thank you guys for, if you got down to this point and you watched or listened all the way through, we really appreciate it. We want you guys to know that we are enjoying all of the content that we are making and that we hope that you guys are ready for what we got coming.
Yeah, for sure. This is our 4th episode and we're finally getting comfortable with it, and we're so happy if you've stuck around to this point with us. If you like our podcast, go on to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Give us a like, give us a thumbs up, give us a review, give us a 5 stars. Tell your friends. Help us grow.
We're trying to spread the word. R&B is here to stay, people. But until next time,
stay tuned, guys.
Adios.